Turn up my volume here. Okay, let's look at the SA2 assignment. Where is it? I opened it already. Here it is. Okay, let's see. I don't see anything that says 12 p.m. Let me look at calendar here. This isn't showing me it doesn't show it to me the same way it shows it to you, where at the top of the page there are the deadlines for submission and all of the requirements. So let me look at my calendar. How's my volume, by the way? Is it okay? Thank you. All right, let's see, 11:59. Okay, so I may have typed that somewhere. 12 p.m. was the deadline for the peer review. So maybe getting that mixed up, I don't know. But if you see any inconsistencies, don't hesitate to send me an email. Okay, and you take a little screenshot and that'll help me fix it real fast. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me go back. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Not a lot of stuff to turn in with this one. Just the final draft with your image. I need to have the image in this submission, even though you've given it to me previously. Okay, I need everything in one place, so I don't have to go bouncing around Canvas looking for things while I'm grading. Excuse me. Okay, does that make sense? Did everybody hear that? Invariably, there's one or two people who don't give me their image, and then I have to go ask them for it, and that slows everything down. Okay. 3 full pages all the way to the bottom of the page. That's the minimum. Okay, if it's less than that, I won't even read it. I'll just, write you a comment saying, add some to this and give it to me in 3 full pages. Give it to me again. All right, this is 1 copy of the image being analyzed. All right, so pretty straightforward, I hope. If you did not do this pre-writing exercise, and I think all of you did, so this probably doesn't pertain to anybody, but just in case, if you didn't, you need to do it and submit it to this assignment right here. That's step 2 in the assignment sheet. All right, let me close that off. So 1 less tab open, go back to my schedule. Okay, and then this is what else we're gonna do today. I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna introduce the documentary that you're gonna watch for SA3. I know, SA3, right? I know, you haven't even finished. Oh, someone's chatting at me, pardon me. My internet is unstable. That's okay, Ethan, I understand. But thank you for letting me know. Yeah, we have to talk about SA3. We have to talk about it, even though you're not done with SA2. But I'm not gonna see you again for a week, as per usual. So I need to introduce the stuff that you need to do between now and when I see you again, which pertains to SA3. And the first item on that list is this right here, learning to recognize political viewpoints. Okay, that's assignment, what is that? Yeah, assignment 6.3. Okay, it's drawing on chapters 6 and 7. It's not about chapters 6 and 7. In fact, I should get rid of that. Let me do that right now. That's confusing. Okay, even though I tell you to read and annotate, you will have done that already, I think, for the quiz. So let me clarify that right now. You're seeing the sausage getting made. This is what it's like now, you guys. I have to do a bunch of this kind of revising because we're like this in Zoom and not in class where I can talk to you all. Okay. Capital D, all right. Now that should be clear. Let me save it. Okay, so that's this assignment. It's due on the 26th at 11:59 p.m., right there. Okay, and it is this discovery exercise in chapter 7 that starts on page 207. Okay, but I've given you a PDF of instructions, scanned pages from the book that I've heavily marked up. Let's take a look at that, because this is what I want you to follow for this assignment. Follow the instructions in this PDF. All right, there it is. There's page 207. Right, and you can see that I've marked it up. All right, so I'm just going to go through this markup really fast, or fairly fast. I don't know how fast. I shouldn't say that. Okay, so this is the exercise. There are 4 categories of publication, and this is an exercise in learning to recognize political viewpoints, okay, in media. In particular, this kind of media. These are news magazines that are political news magazines. And they are reporting on things that happen from a particular political viewpoint. This one is reporting on things that happen from a conservative viewpoint. Okay, this is reporting from a left progressive, left centrist, and neoconservative, right? You guys know what I'm talking about here, right? Left versus conservative, liberal versus conservative, left versus right. Okay, Democrat versus Republican in the US. Okay, that's the breakdown of politics basically, fundamentally in the US. And on page 206, the page right before this one in your textbook, okay, the book gives you that breakdown. It gives you typical US liberal and US conservative viewpoints on a range of different issues in different areas, okay? And then there's all kinds in between. I think the book also gives you a line graph. Let me find my book. There it is. Let me look at page 208. 206, excuse me. 206. Okay, there it is. I think it also gives you a line graph. Yeah, it gives you a line graph on 205, right? Because right in the middle is moderate, right? And then to the far left, the book has labeled the far left radical, which is interesting. All right. And then between moderate and radical is liberal. So liberals are sort of in the middle, okay, of that side of the spectrum, the left side of the spectrum. And then to the right of moderate is conservative and then extreme conservative. Okay. And then I don't know why extreme conservatives aren't considered radical, but that's a rant for another day. Okay, so this is left centrist is liberal. Those are people sort of in the middle. And you've got the New Yorker, Harper's, the Atlantic, the Washington Post, okay, the New York Times considered left centrist. Left progressive, that would be the radical wing. Mother Jones, In These Times, The Progressive, The Nation, The New Republic. Okay, and then mid-range conservative, you've got the National Review, American Spectator, which I don't think is in publication anymore. I think they went out of business, okay? And then to the right of that, you've got neoconservative, okay? Weekly Standard, front page. Okay, so these are national news magazines, okay? And there's all kinds in between, but I just want you to pick one publication from each of these categories. That's what this says. Scan the table of contents, look at some articles and ads. All of these can be found online, and you shouldn't have to pay, okay, to access any of these. If you do, don't do it. Just look at the stuff you can see for free, okay, and do your analysis that way. All right, and then analyze them according to the guidelines 1 through 6 on 208 to 209, which I'll show you in a minute. What you want to do when you're analyzing them, looking for political viewpoints, looking for indications of the attitude of the publication, the attitude of the author of the article, that you look at least one article for each of these. Okay, being conveyed through the language. Okay, that's the main way that political viewpoints are conveyed in print, through the word choices that people make. Okay, but like I said, table of contents, that's about the stories they choose to cover and the titles that they give those stories, because that conveys an attitude towards the subject. And we'll look at some examples in a minute, some specific examples. All right, and then look at the ads, right? Because as we were saying for SA2, advertisers know what people are into in their target audience. So if they're not going to pay to put an ad pro Second Amendment in Mother Jones magazine, right? Because they know those readers will not be positively disposed towards that message, right? So they're going to pay to put their ad. The NRA is going to pay to put its ad, right, in one of these or one of these, conservative or neoconservative, because they know what the readers of those magazines think and value and believe in already. Okay, so look at the rhetoric. That's the language that they use to convey an attitude towards the subject. All right, I said do 1 through 6. Hopefully it's clear that you should not do this. Hopefully that's clear. But do this, do. All right, and this is 1 through 4 that I mentioned before, 5 and 6, and then don't do this. Okay, is that clear, you guys? Everybody get that? Yeah, that's 6.3. Any questions about 6.3? Just the basics, how to, 6.3. Okay, let me give you an example. All righty, right here on the website. I got to move my chat window. I can see it. All right, here's an example. This is from Mother Jones, okay, which we just said is a left conservative. I mean, excuse me, left progressive. That would be an interesting person. Left progressive news magazine. Let's take a look at it. Okay, no, I'm yeah. I mean, I agree, but get out of here. All right, I have to get rid of that. Hang on just a second. There we go. All right, look at this. Got to move my Zoom window again. Look at this, you guys. Just right away in the title. All right, and let me give you the context for this article. This is an article, as you can see, written by David Korn for Mother Jones in 2012. And this article is about this guy's speech that he gave. You guys remember, I hope, that Mitt Romney was the Republican nominee running against Barack Obama in 2012. Barack Obama running for his second term as president. Mitt Romney running against him. So he was nominated and he gave a speech at the convention, Republican convention. And this article is about that speech that he gave. But look at how the title conveys a viewpoint towards that subject. Okay, David Korn, for his left progressive audience, okay, is conveying a particular attitude towards Mitt Romney so that they see that speech in a particular way. Okay, he wants them to see that speech as hard right. Okay, not soft. Okay? You can tell just from the title that what Korn is arguing here is that not Romney was presenting himself as a moderate, okay, a political moderate, sort of in the middle, okay, not a hard right, not a neoconservative. But Korn is saying, he's hard right. Okay, don't be fooled, audience. He's hard right. He means to make some big changes to our country if he gets in office. And that's what the subtitle says. The GOP nominee played it safe, but the convention made clear that he and Ryan, okay, the vice presidential running mate for Romney, aim to radically reshape America. Okay, and what does radical mean, you guys? Do people like things that are radical? And not you guys, but people, generally. No, voters don't like things that are radical. Voters like things that are moderate. They want a little bit of change. They don't want a lot of change. A lot of change scares them. And that is exactly what Korn is trying to do. He's trying to scare his audience about the potential of a Romney presidency. Okay, don't stay home, you guys. Don't be fooled by Romney. You really do need to vote, because if Romney gets in office, he will radically reshape America in ways you don't like. That's what he's telling his audience. And that's all right here. But it goes on. It goes on. Let's take a look. I'm just going to look at the first paragraph or two of this. All right, with the Republican convention in Tampa. And we're looking, remember you guys, we're looking at how the language conveys these attitudes, the words that the author chooses to talk about his subject. And then we can look at the ads here too. Let me just take a quick break. You saw that ad come up for voting, right? Okay, that's Mother Jones trying to tell its left progressive audience, don't listen to what they're saying about not being able to vote or voting being a problem. Just go vote. And then here's an ad for Laird. Okay, you can see who that guy is. He's probably a left progressive, right? Okay, so look at the ads too. All right. But back to the text here. Corn says, with the Republican convention in Tampa, Mitt Romney has launched the most ideological presidential campaign in recent history. Remember what we said about radical? Same thing applies to ideological. People don't like ideologues, okay? Most Americans are moderate, okay? The Republicans say they're right center. The US is right center. Okay, liberals say, no, the US is left center, but they both say it's center, most people, okay? We do not like ideologues. They're going to radically reshape America because they have their ideology that they're committed to, right? And Corn here is saying that Mitt Romney is ideologically conservative and he's committed to that. Ideologues don't listen to other viewpoints. Okay, so look at all the work this one word is doing in this article. It's not an accident, just like the visual rhetoric. It's all on purpose, all on purpose. Very carefully chosen rhetoric here. All right, and he goes on. He says, at issue is not merely the current state of the economy, which was bad in 2012. It was getting better. The graph was going up, but Romney could still make the case that as a businessman, he was better suited than Barack Obama to fix the economy that George W. Bush and Republicans broke, arguably. Okay, but Romney's coming and he's saying, I have this background in business. Okay, I can fix the economy better than Obama can. But Corn here refers to him as CEO in chief. Okay, this phrase is doing a lot of work too. Okay, in chief, as you guys know, is a hyphenate that's applied to all the different jobs a president has to do. Here, Corn is arguing that the only thing Romney might be good at, and I'll come back to that, is being CEO in chief. CEO, as you guys know, means chief executive officer, the head of a business. Okay, so if that's his one strength, that's not going to do it for president. You've got to be commander in chief, right? Importantly, you've got to be comforter in chief, as President Obama was often referred to. We don't hear that so much now, do we? Okay, but there's lots and lots of different jobs the president has to do, Corn is saying. And if Romney's saying he's going to be CEO in chief, that's a problem, just in and of itself. He says, Romney is waging a battle for the opportunity to conduct a conservative social experiment. He's not subtle, right? This is going to terrify his audience. First of all, we don't want experiments. We don't want radicals. We don't want ideologues, and we don't want experiments. We want someone who knows what they're doing, right? Okay. And secondly, we don't want to remake the fundamentals of American society. We just want to tweak around the edges and fix it where it's broken, right? Most people, okay, possibly not you guys, probably not me, okay? I would like to see some fundamentals reshaped in our society because they're pretty problematic at base, okay? But that's a different rant for a different day. Corn is making an argument to people who don't want that. They don't want that. And he's saying Romney's going to do it. Look at all of that just in this little paragraph. Okay. And then the next paragraph, there's Paul Ryan, the vice presidential nominee, running mate. Okay. Corn straight up says he's lying. He says Ryan lied in Ryan's speech the night before. Okay. What did he lie about? He lied about Romney being a successful businessman. So not only is it not good enough to be CEO in chief, but Romney isn't even a good businessman, Korn is saying. All right. And then, of course, Ryan did not say these things. Voters are now living in an American gulag where basic freedoms have been destroyed and sanctimonious central planners dictate citizens' lives, smother initiative, and doom everyone to a life of entitlement and control. Can you imagine Paul Ryan saying that in his speech? Of course not. He didn't. Okay. Korn is misrepresenting what Ryan said in Ryan's speech. Korn is saying that Ryan hinted at all of this to try to scare Ryan's audience. Are you guys following? Okay, so Korn's trying to scare his audience. And then he's accusing Ryan of trying to scare Ryan's audience about a Barack Obama presidency. And that's all here. That's all here. All right. What's a gulag, you guys? Do you guys know?
A Russian prison?
Yeah, it's a Russian prison. Okay, so what Korn is saying Ryan said to Ryan's audience at the Republican National Convention is that Barack Obama is a communist. And he's going to make us all live in a gulag. And there'll be central planners who dictate our lives and smother our initiative. And we'll just be, doomed to entitlements that enslave us and that control by other people. That's Soviet Russia. That Korn is saying Ryan talked about, which of course Ryan did not do, but he probably hinted at it. Okay. Anyway, so we could go on with this, and that's what you're doing. You're looking at the way these articles use language to convey an attitude towards the subject. You're looking at the table of contents, which you can get to by going up here, just clicking on the title of the magazine. All right, and then you can see what other articles have been written and look at the titles of them. You can look at the ads by going to the front page of the article online. Of the magazine online. All right, so that's left progressive. Let's look at another one. Okay, so this is an article by Michelle Malkin, whom some of you may be familiar with from Essay 1. She wrote one of the articles I gave you on immigration. I don't know, I don't remember if anybody looked at that one, but in any case, she is a neoconservative author and pundit. You'll see her on Fox News from time to time. I haven't seen her, heard of her lately, okay? But she's been around. And she's a really good writer. It's too bad she's a horrible person, in my opinion. But this article first appeared in, let's see, which one did it appear in? I think it appeared in the New Republic, here, neoconservative. And then when they took that down, she reposted it on her own website. Okay, but look at the title, you guys. And again, this is 2012, and the context is the election that year. Barack Obama v. Romney. Okay, the title, The Poser of the United States, the photo op presidency. Who's she talking about? Who's the president in 2012? Nobody knows? Or it's just an obvious question. It wasn't meant to be rhetorical. Who's she talking about, you guys? You can type, you can speak. Eleanor, do you know? Your box lit up.
Obama, yeah.
Yeah, she's talking about Barack Obama. Okay, is she being flattering? Is she flattering him? No, a poser is a guy, is a person who doesn't do a real thing. A poser just poses doing that thing, right? The photo op presidency. So right there in the title, she is conveying an attitude towards the subject, an attitude towards Barack Obama, right? She's saying he's a fake. He's a fake president. All he's concerned about is getting his picture taken. And that is all over the rest of these paragraphs. All right, let's just look at the first one. The official Obama 2012 campaign slogan is forward. The operational motto is cheese, right? Which is what you say when you get your picture taken. Say cheese, cheese, so you smile, right? That's what she's characterizing Obama's presidency and the campaign for his reelection that way. And then she goes on, I said she's a good writer, and it's true. From hollow Greek columns to strategically released Situation Room candids, she should have put candids in quotes. Because what does candid mean? A candid photograph is what kind? What kind of photograph is a candid photograph?
It's not planned out, personally.
Yeah, it's not posed, literally, right? It's like, whoops, I got my picture taken, doing what I do, right? You caught me, and you're not looking at the camera, right? You're just going like this while you work, looking serious. Okay, but she says they're strategically released. All right, the Situation Room, as you guys probably know, is where all the big decisions are made, where emergencies are handled. She calls him the paparazzi president. What's paparazzi, you guys?
Celebrity photographers,
Yeah.
often non-consensual.
Sorry, Noah, go ahead. I always cut you off. You pause a lot and then you speak again.
Oh, I do. Yeah, it's not
okay,
very conducive
okay.
for Zoom.
I'm just explaining why. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just said usually not consensual with the whole paparazzi thing.
Yeah. And the idea is that they're chasing celebrities, right? Not serious people, but just famous people. So just in this one word, Michelle, I almost called her Michelle Bachmann. Oh my God. Michelle Malkin is saying a whole lot about President Obama, right? She's saying he's more concerned with being a rock star, which he is, in my humble opinion, but he's more concerned with that than doing his job. Okay, and he's put self-serving optics, which is how a thing looks, above all else. Look at that, all of that, just in these, what, 2 sentences? Conveying a particular attitude towards this subject. And we could go on. Expertly staged Kabuki theater meets Potemkin Village productions. Oh my God. That is a beautiful phrase. It conveys a lot. All right. Kabuki theater is Japanese pantomime, right, you guys? Is that right? Okay. Potemkin Village is a reference to an old Soviet era propaganda film. So she's calling him a faker and a communist at the same time. Communist faker. Oh, she's talking about Hurricane Sandy, which comes up down here. But $16 trillion in debt, a pile of dead bodies. Oh, this is the economy. This is Hurricane Sandy. And this is what's going on in the Middle East. All of that in that phrase. And instead of dealing with all of those catastrophes, which she's blaming him for, he's worried about getting his picture taken to create a grand illusion of leadership. All right, and there's the Situation Room candid right there, where everybody looks serious. All right, strategically released and staged, right? And then here's another one, a close-up, and she's talking about him being pen in hand, gilded coffee cup to the side, getting a Sandy update. Okay, so she's saying this is all fake, that he is pretending to do his job, that he's posing here, looking serious. He's not really working, right? And she calls attention to the gold on the coffee cup, right? Well, everybody else is drinking their coffee from takeout cups, okay? Why does she call attention to the gold on the coffee cup? What is that supposed to indicate about Barack Obama?
That he's frivolous in some way, showing off.
Yeah, and he's an elitist, right? Look at this elitist drinking from a gilded coffee cup, right? What are we in France? Is he the king, right? It's the White House China, you guys. He's the president. He gets to drink out of the White House China. But she zeroes in on that to make a criticism of him. Okay. Anyway, we could go on with this, but that's the idea. Is you're just skim the articles and take notes about what you see in terms of the rhetoric and how it conveys an attitude towards the subject. Does that make sense? Okay, let me close these up so I'm not so confused by all the tabs that are open. Go back to my agenda. Make you guys long again. There we go. And scoot you over. Okay, so that's one. Okay, but before you do that, do this. This is the reading quiz. Read and annotate those chapters and then do the quiz. And then do this learning to recognize political viewpoints. This is something I just put up. This is optional. Okay, and I just put it up. There goes my neck. Oh. Because of yet another report of foreign interference in our election. Okay, that just came out. I've been meaning to do this, but that report was the impetus for me just doing it. Foreign agents actively working to undermine our democracy and our society, you guys. It's crazy. You guys, I'm old. I've never seen anything like this before. Never, ever, ever. This is the Trump effect, okay? Love him or hate him, you cannot deny that he is creating this climate with his rhetoric and his behavior. Anyway, so this is an extra credit assignment. You don't have to do it, but if you do it, you'll get 5 points. And again, it's just reading this information. It's not a lot, but it gives you examples that will help you recognize, distinguish between misinformation, which is whoopsie, I made a mistake, not on purpose, and disinformation, which is a purposeful attempt to mislead an audience for a particular purpose. And here's some more resources and other online resources, okay, about media and news literacy. Lots of great stuff in here you guys can peruse. And if you do that and submit your notes on it to this assignment, I'll give you extra credit, but you don't have to. Okay, and then there's this stuff. Most of this is pretty straightforward. The one thing I want to talk to you about are these two things. So let me go up here. Okay, so I mentioned essay 3. This should not be that number anymore. It should be a different number. Why is it that number? Ugh, I'm gonna have to change this. Okay, I'm gonna be making some changes in Canvas after I say goodbye to you guys. So you're gonna, if you've got your notifications set up, you'll be getting notifications. But I'm just moving stuff around and rearranging deadlines. Okay, I think I just need to change the number of this. But anyway, I don't want to confuse you with that. I thought I changed this already. Anyway, so this is a page of information. It's a lecture. Okay, introducing essay 3 and introducing this documentary, Outfoxed. Okay, which is the first course text that you'll be engaging with on the topic that essay 3 is about, which is news media. That's what essay 3 is about. And essay 3 is going to ask you to do an analysis of news media framing. And that's explained later on this page. Okay, but this first paragraph introduces the documentary, Outfoxed. Has anybody seen it? You guys seen Outfoxed? No, it's kind of old. It's very old at this point, in fact. It's very old, okay? But it's still very, very, very relevant, okay, to what's going on with the news media in our country, particularly the US. I know there's problems with news media across the planet, but in the US, it's a particular problem with a particular saliency for our democracy because of how our system works. Our system depends on the news media, you guys, in order to work. If the news media is not doing its job the way it's supposed to, objectively, then we can't do our job as citizens in a democracy. That's what dis and misinformation is about, okay? And the news media now is a big source of mis and disinformation, and that's a big problem. Okay, so that's kind of what this is about. Journalism and the line between news and opinion. And the documentary sort of traces a trend in the news media that used to be totally objective, which is what journalism is supposed to be. There's opinion journalism, and it's supposed to be labeled as such. But the problem with this slide from objectivity in journalism to opinion in journalism is that there are people doing opinion journalism pretending like they're doing just journalism. And that's a problem. And the biggest offender is Fox News. Okay, they started it. And it has spread in something called the Fox effect to other news media, where opinion is taking over. Okay, and objective reporting is becoming less and less and less prevalent. And it's becoming harder and harder to tell the difference between those two things. So that's what this documentary is kind of about. The documentary, and the reason you're watching it, does a news framing analysis of programming on Fox News. Okay, it analyzes the way that Fox News frames its reporting, all of it, from a conservative political viewpoint. And as I said, the news media is not supposed to be framing the news from any political viewpoint. It is supposed to be informing us, just giving us information. That's what report means. A news report is supposed to be objective. And you guys know this as students. When you're told to write a report, you understand that what you're being asked to do is inform your audience. Okay? Keep your opinion about the issue or the topic of the essay out of it. Just tell them what's happening. And that's what the news is supposed to do. It's just supposed to tell its audience what's happening. It can report on political viewpoints, but the reporter, him or herself, should not be identifying with any political viewpoint. You should not be able to tell what the reporter thinks about the issue or the event that they're reporting on. Okay? And that's what this documentary shows. It shows that Fox News is reporting from a conservative political viewpoint, and it's really obvious that they are. Even while they claim to be objective. Okay, they claim to be fair and balanced, and they are anything but fair and balanced. And that's just a fact. Okay, that's not really debatable. Okay, but this documentary was made in 2007, and it focuses on this time period. Okay, the time period leading up to the 2004 election, and Fox News's coverage of that, of the issues that relate to that election, the things that people were thinking about when they were deciding which person should be president. And the presidential campaigns themselves. They talk about George W. Bush. They cover John Kerry. And you can see, okay, quite obviously, the difference in attitude on the part of the people on Fox News talking about these two candidates, about the candidates. You're not supposed to be able to tell that. Do you guys know that? I didn't used to have to stress this. It used to be common knowledge that when you watch the news, you're not supposed to be able to tell what the news people think about the thing they're reporting on. Okay, but like I said, that's becoming harder and harder to find, that kind of reporting. All right, as you watch the documentary, you should be taking notes, and these are in the assignment that I'll look at with you in a minute for the documentary. The film is embedded in the assignment. All right, and you know, a couple more things about this documentary. Its examples are really old, like I said, but they're very apt still for the current moment we're in. You're going to be shocked. Okay, and what's extra shocking is the way that this has spread. Fox News used to be just sort of an outlier in news media when it started. But everybody saw how Fox News was doing news and said, hey, they're making a lot of money doing news that way. We should do that too. And then MSNBC was born, right? And then CNN, which already existed, started doing more opinion journalism. Because what do these organizations want? What is their purpose for existence? Why do they exist? Why do these, what do these media organizations want? Do they exist? And we're leaving NPR and PBS out of it, right? Those are public broadcasting. They really do exist for the sole purpose of informing an audience. And they get their revenue from donations. Where do these other media organizations, where does Fox News get its revenue so that it can stay in business? The key word is business, right? Where does their revenue come from, you guys?
Advertising.
Yeah, advertising. They want to sell advertising, right? So it's the reality TV-ification of the news media, starting with Fox News. They want people to watch, right? Okay, so I'll stop talking about that. You guys will talk about that, and we'll all talk about it next week. But this is what you need to look at before you watch the documentary. Is this page of lecture information. It talks about news framing here. It references some pages in the text, which are presented right here. And it talks about news framing analysis. What is it? Okay, let me close that. And then, oh, I did change it. I just need to change it in the assignment. Okay, so it's 6.6. That's what we were looking at, even though it says 6.2 when I open it. I blew that. Okay, but here's the documentary right here. Okay, and as I said, there's the film embedded right in the assignment. You can just play it from here. Okay, you can make it bigger. Okay, and then this is the document that you should download and print if you can. Have it beside you while you're watching the film, because all of these things that you need to talk about, okay, you need to define these terms, analyze fallacies, and it's on the part of Fox News. You're going to see fallacies being committed by people on Fox News. All right, and then there's some questions about the documentary you need to answer. Okay, so that's that one. Any questions about anything I've talked about so far? Okay, then let me go back. Okay, and then there's a discussion forum that goes with it. So you watch the film, you answer those questions, you submit them to this assignment, 6.7, and then you participate in a discussion forum about the film. All right, but before that, you should do this assignment, 6.4, okay? And you have till the 29th to submit it, okay? It's a quiz. It's not a Canvas quiz. It's a quiz in your textbook on these pages, okay? Just do the odd numbered questions, and you can skim these chapters. Chapters 9 and 11, they're all about fallacies, which, as you guys probably already know, are errors in reasoning, okay? And they're intentionally erroneous. The purpose is to mislead, okay? You're messing up your reasoning on purpose to confuse people, to mislead them. And you're gonna see that happening all over the clips in this documentary of Fox News reporting. Fallacies everywhere. So identify a few, okay, for that questions for analysis assignment. Okay, and miscellaneous critical thinking concepts. Okay, I might extend this to the 29th as well. But this one is asking you to just go to these places that are linked here and then define this concept, the third person effect. So you go to this link, you learn about it, and then you just write a short summary of it, a few sentences at most. Okay, sentence 2 or 3 at most for each of these concepts. And it's implicit bias, cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias, backfire effect. This is really interesting, the backfire effect. If you guys don't know what that is already, you're gonna really be interested in that. I was. In trying to figure out why facts don't work on some people, you guys. Why you can make a really good argument with all of your facts and all of your research backing it up, and people will still be like, nope, climate change isn't real. You're like, what? What? This will explain that, backfire effect. Cherry picking, ideological silos, gaslighting, okay? So look at these explanations of what gaslighting is, all right? 11 warning signs that you're being gaslit, All right, and then watch this, and you'll see that Donald Trump is a gaslighter par excellence. He's really good at it. Okay. All right, and that's all that. Okay. I know you're thinking, oh my God, but so I recorded this. You guys can watch this later if you're feeling overwhelmed. All righty. Do you guys have any questions? Let me stop sharing my screen so I can see your distressed and tired faces, some of you. Dahlia, Susie, this looks so worked. All right. Does all of that make sense, you guys? I'm sorry. Sorry. You have some time. Do you need or want an extension on SA2? Do you want me to make it due tomorrow instead of tonight? Yeah? Okay, I'll do that. I don't want you to fall behind on the other stuff though, because as you just saw, it's a lot. I want to at least be able to talk about outfoxed with you in class next week. All right? If you can't get the other stuff done, just let me know. All right? And I'll extend that deadline to tomorrow at 11:59 for SA2. Okay? How's peer review going? Ezra, I think you need to get peer review. Please contact me about that. Okay, anybody else? Questions, problems, issues, complaints? No? Okay, I'll go ahead and end now, nice and early. All righty? And I'll see you guys next week. And get a hold of me if you have any problems. Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
You're welcome.